All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Complexity Casting. I'm your casting host, Beef, bringing you Game 2 of this Best of 3 series, Complexity, taking on Q Squad 357. See who's going to advance to the top 3, who's going to be taking on the loser of Trademark versus SG. That's going to be going on tomorrow morning. But guys, before we worry about that one, we got this one to settle right here, right now. Complexity can close it out with this game. QsQ, they're on the ropes. They have to bring it back. They have to put it all on the line. Otherwise, their diamond hopes and dreams end right here, and they're going to have to wait until next year to compete again. Can you imagine that? Having to wait all the way till next year? That's like 13 days or something. Of course, we will be taking a little bit of a break off of HoN Tour after this weekend. For Diamond, at least, I'll be casting Gold next weekend, I do believe. So I'm not going to be taking too much of a break. I had my vacation the past 4 days, got to go on a little bit of a road trip, but I'm back now to cast more Heroes of New Earth action. So guys, let's get into this game. Blind Band's coming out. Fade and Jeraziah being banned out here by the Legion side. Now that's interesting. Jeraziah, just not a hero that we see banned or picked, especially not Blind Band too much anymore. He was banned out in the last game. Jeraziah as well as Demented Shaman were banned in the last game, but those weren't blind bans. Those were just normal standard bans, but whatever. That's what B-Kid's going to go with. Doesn't want the QsQ team to get a hold of that. Keeper of the Forest and Ophelia, standard bans there by QsQ, same as they did last time. Let's get into the lock phase. B-Kid chooses to first lock Wild Soul, wants to get that strong suicide on the board right away, and guarantees that his team can pick up that Wild Soul if they want to. So we'll see how QsQ responds to the possible Wild Soul pick in their first 3 standard picks. Parasite and Glacius is the response by Nova. Even though Chessie was able to get that Parasite last game, the way that they've countered is by saying, okay, you guys can get Wild Soul or Parasite, but you're not going to be able to get both. That's why the Parasite's on the board right there. And we'll see if the QsQ team does pick one of those up after Complexity picks up the other. Glacius, of course, another strong support, completely standard there. Voodoo Jester, he's the 6th and final lock, going to be coming out. And QsQ, of course, Nova in particular, really does like playing that hero. I like playing him quite a bit myself, as for some reason I'm not getting any sound. Oh, okay. Interesting. Sorry, somehow HoN was muted, even though it said it wasn't muted. But let's get back into this. Tempest and Pebbles actually going to be picked right there. They are blowing through this. What are you doing, guys? Okay, I'm not even going to be able to talk about this. Bans going out right there. Demented Shaman, Silhouette, Draconis, Tundra, Dark Lady, and Engineer. So banning 3 very strong carries and a couple of strong supports right there. But they've already finished up, guys. First pick was, in fact, Aluna, followed by Bubbles and Forsaken Archer by the QsQ side. I have never seen a team pick and ready up this fast before. We're going to be going into this game in 5 seconds. Bubbles, Forsaken Archer, picks number 2 and 3. Wretched Hag, Meraxis round out the normal picks for Complexity. And the final standard pick is, in fact, Tremble for QsQ. So Nox, I think he's going to be playing that. Excuse me, is Style going to be playing that? Yes, he is. So Style picks that one up. First lock pick comes out, and it is Wild Soul, and immediately QsQ picks up the Parasite. So like I said, if you see a very strong first pick hero, you put up another very strong first pick hero yourself, saying, okay, we're going to get that one if you get that one. And so QsQ does put up the Parasite and grabs that. Big Kid can't be too happy about that one because he hates playing against Parasite with good reason. Let's go ahead and get that image changed up there. There we go. And, well, round it out with, I believe, Bubbles. No, Glacius. Glacius, and then Tempest finishes it off for Complexity, as Aluna's going to get caught out right here. The Thunder Blast already going out. The Shell Surf is there, but Aluna does level up that Deja Vu and will be able to escape for now. And has to hit that health potion. Now, that's a little bit unfortunate. Normally, you do not get that Deja Vu until level 4. So rather than giving up First Blood, Aluna is going to have to level that one up, which means that if she does level up her Power Throw levels 1 and 2 at level 2 and 3, she's not going to be able to get Emerald Lightning until level 4. And not being able to have that stun that you really want on that hero is going to be kind of detrimental for her. Let's talk about these lanes a little bit as we've gotten into this game quite fast. But it is, in fact, going to be Tremble up here in the short lane solo being played by Style. He's going to go up against Suicide Wild Soul being played by Chess. You can already see the bear up there going to go for the pull. And I think that Wild Soul should have a pretty good time in this lane. He's going to do just fine, that's for sure. Middle lane, going to be a one-on-one matchup? No, it's going to be the solo Wretched Hag against the two-man lane Glacius and Forsaken Archer. So Nox going to try to find his farm in the middle lane. Worth noting that Forsaken Archer and Tremble both require quite a lot of farm in order to start becoming highly effective. So we'll see if there's going to be enough farm to go around here. As Bubbles starts to actually... He's going to be trading some auto attacks with Luna. And Bubbles does not have a Guardian Ring. He has been stacked a little bit of regen, it looks like. Yes, did he get stacked a little bit of regen? He must have been. Yes, he was. He does have more regen than normal, that's for sure. But Bubbles not able to really effectively trade auto attacks, but he's not too afraid because he knows Aluna does not have that power throw. Another thing, Aluna uses that power throw to actually get lots and lots of harass off, and she's not able to in this circumstance. So anyway, like I said, we'll see if there's enough farm to really go around here for the Forsaken Archer and the Trembles. They both are going to need quite a bit. Bubbles needs some as well, especially if he's going to be needing that recovery farm after not getting real great farm in the lane, which he by all means should not, going up against Merax's Aluna in the long lane. And Tempest is going to be coming over, going to be doing some ganks as well. So Yonasom Fan, he's actually pressing up, getting a lot more experience than I would expect him to be able to in this lane. And a lot of that, once again, comes back down to that stacked regen. He might even be able to go in for a kill here on Aluna. Franzi having to run for his life. Franzi's already out of regen. Yonasom Fan still has another Rune of Blight and a health potion that was stacked to him from Nova. So Yonasom Fan does a great job there. Wretched Hag actually being ran down a little bit by a hasted Parasite. And Hag not using that Flash of Darkness just yet because it's on cooldown. She's going to have to land a very good Flash of Darkness and will be able to clear that location. Going to start to health potion up. And Parasite comes in, knocks the health potion off with a leech. Very well done, and will now be able to make his way back into the jungle. And because of that, Wretched Hag is now in a lot of trouble. Had to expend a lot of regen, a lot of time wasted there. And she's not really going to be able to do a whole lot now in that middle lane. Top lane, somebody that is doing pretty well in their lane is Wild Soul. He's stacking up decently against his Tremble, but maybe not for long. The nuke comes in from the Vagabond leader. A nice root onto Tremble, but will it be enough? Wild Soul trying to get out of there. He's going to try to get the TP off, and he will be able to. Spawns the bear to block his path and is able to TP on out. Well done by Chessie. Just another one of the many reasons that that hero is so strong in that lane. You get stuck, just find your way into into a area, summon that bear again, block yourself, get the TP off as Haxrin goes down in the middle lane. So Hax, I'm pretty sure that he went out and had to go get his regen on. Yeah, he's not going to be able to TP back into the middle lane. Doesn't have enough money to buy one, of course. But as soon as he got back over there, did end up giving up the Bloodlust, as Nova actually gets credit for that kill, as Franzi is going to drop in the long lane. Like I said, Yonasom Fan doing a very nice job giving up that level 1 power throw. Actually, it's one of those things that you want to save yourself, but you also need that power throw to be able to hold your own against somebody like the Bubbles in this harass war down here. And so Bubbles just able to consistently put out damage with that stacked regen. Of course, that's something else that QsQ was able to do. They stacked the regen on their Suicide player. And, well, they were able to get quite a bit going on there. As a regen rune is picked up by Parasite. Going to maybe try to make something happen on the Hag once again. Level 4 Parasite does back off. Now, Complexity not looking so hot here at the beginning phases of this game. As another nice root goes off there from the Boo Boo Bear. Parasite's going to be making his way over, and Wild Soul might be in a little bit of trouble. He might try to turn it around onto Tremble. but somebody's most likely going to die here in this top lane. They're actually going to go for the kill on the bear. They want to get the bear very low and be able to finish that off, and the bear is going to be falling here. One more hit, and the bear does go down. That takes out quite a bit of HP from Wild Soul, and he's going to try to get the TP off once again. He will be able to get the TP off, but you know, every time that he does that, that's another 135 gold. That's lost time in lane, lost experience, lost gold. It's not looking so good for them. As another nice crippling volley is going to go down on Wretched Hag. Nova not quite in position to land the glacial imprisonment, the ice imprisonment, and so not able to follow up and get the kill. But Bubbles in the bottom lane having to fall back and activate a mana potion as Francie comes in, and she's been doing quite a bit of harassment if we take a look at the damage done in this game. Bottom lane accounting for quite a bit, about 45% of the damage done, and top lane, Tremble and Wild Soul kind of going back and forth, but Wild Soul getting the better end of that as he's put out quite a bit of damage onto that Boo Boo Bear. Bubbles trying to get away. Power Throw goes out. Shell Surf being used, and Bubbles will try to get out of there, dodging axes, but there we go. Able to get out after all. So, complexity now down about 1,200 gold here. 6 minutes into the game. Not a huge amount, and they are actually up in experience. A lot of that having to do with Moonmeander on the Tempest. Of course, he is the top level in the game. Level 7, 450 experience per minute. Followed very, very shortly by the the Tremble up here in the top lane. He's done a great job as well. Unfortunately, Wild Soul not able to get a ton of denies. In fact, 0 denies going off. So Tremble getting pretty much full experience in that lane. Let's take a look at Wild Soul's farming. He is 10-0. 149 gold per minute. Chessie really not having a good time here in this lane. In fact, you can see him walking back to town. I'm not exactly sure why he's walking all the way back to town. Still controlling his bear. He wants to be able to get a pull off, but is going to have to actually back off. Is he going to go over and try to do some ancients? It actually looks like he is going to go and get some ancients done. That's another reason why, well, actually, the Hag might be in a little bit of trouble. The Ice Imprisonment goes out as well as the Glacial Freeze. One more auto attack would have finished Hag off, but she gets the Flash of Darkness off. And there's the health potion. Going to try to turn it around as there's 3 people here. Glacial Blast going to be going out onto Glacius. One more freeze is going to come in, and the auto attacks are going to be able to finish him off. Sonar Screen from Hag actually cleans that one up. As now 4 players from the Complexity Squad going to be moving to take down this middle tower. Boo Boo Bear going to lead the charge. The fortification already being used as they're going to try to delay this as much as possible. Forsaken Archer with her Steam Boots is going to be making her way back over. Try to assist, but not level 6 just yet, so doesn't have her piercing arrows. Power Throw goes out for a little bit of scouting information, but no, the tower does go down in the first of the game. It goes, in fact, to Moonmeander, so he's going to be able to increase his farm. 377 gold per minute now. Top farmer in the game does go to Tempest. Moon looking strong. Top lane defensive tower glyph being activated, and tower not quite in deny range. So it looks like the Complexity team will try to make their way back up there. Defend that for now. Maybe go for a deny. Something like that. Now, here's an untold story that we have not focused on very much at all. B-Kid in the bottom lane. Free farming his little butt off. 52 and 32 in terms of creep kills. Looking just phenomenal down there. Very close to perfect CS. 364 gold per minute. But very, very close here at 8 minutes into the game to perfect CS. And, well, he's going to be able to have anything that he wants relatively soon. Already finishes up his Steam Boots and might be going for something like oh, actually, Forsaken Archer might be in a little bit of trouble here in the middle lane. Glacial Blast going to be going out. The Haunt is already there. The Elemental Replicate's trying to get the damage in, but it's only level 2 Glacial Blast, so they're not able to get the third one. Face Hug comes in as well as a Leech onto Wretched Hag. Auto attack's going to be going on the Hag, but no, Flash of Darkness. She's able to get out of there. Power Throw to finish off Forsaken Archer. Very well done, as Luna's going to be able to try to get up there and get the body blocks onto Parasite, and Parasite's going to have to turn around, activates those phase boots, and able to get out of there, though. So, nice job, good rotation from Francie, making use of that level 2 power throw and able to snag the last hit onto Forsaken Archer, cleaning up where his teammates left off. But not bad, not bad. So, Bottom lane, Steam Boots already finished up on Meraxes. We'll see if he goes through something like Mystic Vestments or a Power Supply, Blood Chalice before he goes to that Portal Key, or if he's going to go for that next, as top tower is now in deny range. Going to go in for the deny right there, and Wild Soul does pick it up, so Complexity doing a nice job now. Able to get a tower for themselves in the middle lane and a couple of kills. Get the deny on the top tower to maybe stop the farm from Tremble just a little bit. As Bubbles is in some trouble, the Matrix comes out and they're going to try to finish off Bubbles. One more axe and he will fall. Glacius is there, maybe trying to finish off Meraxes, but Meraxes does have the Portal Key available. No, the root going to come out from Boris and he's going to have the Portal Key very soon. Oh, he doesn't have enough mana just yet. Even if he changes his Steam Boots, he's still going to be about 10-15 short and will be able to just walk out of there, even with the root coming in from Boris. Not quite able to lock down the Meraxes. Bubbles in that long lane, 125 gold per minute, level 6. Nice job of him to actually get that level 6 there right before he died. But as opposed to the 200 gold per minute of Chessie on the other team, he's having a little bit better of a time. And, of course, Chessie will be able to start farming those Ancients relatively soon. And even though Chessie really not a whole lot of items to speak of, you know, he just activates that ultimate and he's 1100 HP. As Tremble's just going to start walking down Boo Boo, has a Helm of the Black Legion completed, so he is quite tanky, and Boo Boo will be able to escape, but not before giving up about 3/4 of his health pool. Franzi using the haste rune that he had, just trying to walk around, maybe find a kill, but not quite able to. Wretched Hag trying to get some farm, trying to catch up here, but the Invisible Wild Hunter housing Parasite is going to be very scary, as Bubbles is going to go in the middle lane a little bit, but no, not going to port to that. Meraxes is going to try to finish off Tremble right here, going for the axes, but wow, that is a fast Tremble. Oh, power throw finishes him off, and nice job there from Franzi, but Phase Boots on top of that Terror Mound, and lots of speed, as Hag is going to go down in the middle lane. Looks like, well, in fact, a couple of the QsQ players do manage to bring down that tower and pick up the kill onto Haxorn. That is, of course, his second of the game. Guys, for any of you wondering where Lalonde is, he's been co-casting with me the last weekend. Unfortunately, he did have something personal come up today and had to duck out, but he should be back here for tomorrow, so no need to worry. It's not a long-term thing, just had an obligation to attend to today. Bottom lane, Tempest picks up a Portal Key and it may be trying to set something up here. But there's 3 players from the QsQ team in the vicinity. And, well, Parasite might actually be able to see Tempest as Tempest does portal on out of there. And Vagabond Leader trying to find him. We'll see if they're actually able to or not. No, not going to be able to find Tempest. Not able to knock down those trees in time. 12 minutes into this game, looking relatively even. Complexity in a 1700 experience lead, but QsQ in about a 500 gold lead, so able to keep their own there. Parasite opting to go for the same build that Chessie did last time, with one little difference. Chessie was about 430 gold per minute, whereas Slate is about 230 gold per minute. So not going to be able to finish up that Hellflower at nearly the time that Chessie was able to, something like 17 minutes. That's going to be 4 minutes from now, and he's only got 1 Arcana, so not quite able to. Double Portal Keys have been picked up by the Complexity team, so we'll see if they do try to initiate onto Glacius. Glacius, of course, is a little bit of bait right here. And you can see B-Kid knows that something might be a little bit fishy, so not going to go in quite yet. But no, the QsQ team's going to go in. Shellsurf Song going to see an Elemental Void comes out, catching 3. Meraxes activates the Matrix. The Quake's going to go out. He's trying to get the damage off. Not able to finish off anyone, though. Down goes Tempest, and Meraxes might even be in some trouble now, trying to throw out the Matrix. The Terraform's going to come down in the Shellsurf to clean him up. Yonosub fan brings home that kill. Get a little bit of revenge. Bubbles now at 3-1-0. It was a huge Tempest ultimate, but there simply weren't enough players there from Complexity to finish up on that. It was a great counter response from the Hellborn team to be able to get their players out of there and clean up for a couple kills onto the 2 Portal Key wielding members of Complexity. Of course, Meraxes and Moonbander on the Tempest right there both go down. And so is this defensive tower. Franzi kind of caught out of position. They're actually going to go in right here. A red Emerald Lightning comes out as they're going to try to finish off Parasite. Not quite able to, though, as the Boris goes in, and Boris tries to snag the last hit. He gets the root onto Wretched Hag and is able to get the kill onto the tower. So well done there by Boris. He is going to be giving up his life. Last hit does in fact go to Moonmeander, but to get the last hit onto the tower and to prevent Parasite from dying with that root, well worth it indeed. Well met, little Boris, buddy. Well met. Chessie trying to get his farm on. He's got 2,400 gold saved up with, let's take a look at the bear. He does have just red boots. Not going to be going for the early ghost marches. I'm just happy that the bear's not invisible. Been getting that bug recently as Tremble's going to try to make something happen here onto Chessie. Going to start pounding in the auto attacks. The Dark Swarm is activated and Chessie will be trying to make something happen, but that was a little bit odd. Bottom lane, Ultimate Warrior streak, or Serial Killer streak comes out for Yonasom Fan as he picks up a kill onto Franzi. And in fact, Wretched Hag has to TP on out of there. So QsQ starting to pull away here in Game 2. 3,300 gold lead and about 1,000 experience lead as well. So looking strong, of course, Tremble and Forsaken Archer farming very well at 362 gold per minute and 349 respectively. Getting farm where they need it, and that's something very great to speak of. The 360, 370 gold per minute farms of Meraxes and Tempest not quite so high anymore, as they've both gone in for a few kills and unfortunately were not able to capitalize and finish them off. Tremble picks up a Steam Staff now, so it's always interesting to see what somebody builds with the Steam Staff. There's always the possibility of going for that Hellflower. There's also the possibility of going for something like an Assassin's Shroud, and Insanitarius is there. I would highly doubt that's what's going to happen, and of course Wingbow as well, but I would also doubt that Wingbow is coming out at 16 minutes in. Hellflower seems like the most likely option, but another option is some people just like to build a Steam Staff right away. The stats that it gives you, the attack damage and attack speed that it gives you for 800 gold are actually very, very high. So it's a nice farming tool. Save it to build into something later like that Wingbow or like that Hellflower, but for right now, just use it for those stats. Chessie is about 800 gold away now from getting his Sword of the High. And then will be just 1,300 gold from finishing up the Mock of Brilliance, which of course will be very, very nice for the bear to have, providing some anti-push potential, as Wild Soul's going to have to TP out once again. That's got to be the 5th time this game that Wild Soul just activates that TP and is able to just get on out of there. There's not a whole lot to break it on the opposing team. You got the Ice Imprisonment and you got the Kelp Field. That's it? Yeah, that's it. Until they finish up some Hellflowers, just the Ice Imprisonment and the Kelp Field. So if Glacius is not there, and if you don't want to burn that Bubbles ultimate, then you're not going to be interrupting that. As in the bottom lane, Tempest is actually in a little bit of trouble. Going to go in for the Elemental Void? No. In fact, going to just hold it. The tower is going to be denied down here. But QsQ, they're on a massacre streak, like the announcer says. 18 minutes in, now up 4,200 gold, 2,000 experience. And Complexity just not able to find any openings, not able to get in there and find any vulnerabilities in QsQ. Giving up quite a few unreturned kills. It looks like about 5 or 6 kills unreturned. They're going to try to bring down Wretched Hag. Unfortunately, a missed Song of the Sea right there from Bubbles. Otherwise, that would have been a guaranteed kill onto Hag. Invisible Wild Hunter might still be trying to finish off this Wild Soul, though. Bubbles is there, does have enough mana for all of his spells, but does not have the cooldown just yet, as looks like the Wild Hunter goes in there and just try to soak up some experience, maybe try to take the last hit on a creep, but ran out of invisibility before the Song of the Sea was available again, and looks like Slate does have to back off. Nova, not quite so poor in this game as he was in the last, not down at 60 gold per minute or anything like that. This time able to pick up all of his wards, his boots, turns him into Striders, and even a power supply here at 20 minutes in, so he's got to be pretty happy. Last time that I saw Nova on Glacius, he did in fact pick up a portal key. Yeah, you heard me. A portal key on Nova Glacius, so we'll see if they do indeed pick one up once again as top lane. They're going in deep on a Forsaken Archer right there. Red Power Throw comes in, but 4 TPs are going to be coming in here. They're going to try to finish off FA, and FA will fall. Beacon's in some serious trouble, though, as Parasite, Glacius, and Trimble are there to try to clean up. They do get the kill. It does, in fact, go to Nova, so propelling his farm up to 200 gold per minute. He's well on his way to that portal key after all. Bubbles keeps on trying to get his farm after a bad start in that long lane, having to contend against that Aluna, and the Meraxes was eventually able to get the kill onto Aluna, started to make a little bit of recovery, and now up to 215 gold per minute, finishing up his Steam Boots power supply and a Grave Locket. So he's got a pretty nice core to go with. I'm going to be starting to save up for that portal key. Speaking of big items to get saved up for, Sword in the High is finished up onto Boo Boo. Wild Soul will give that to his bear and start saving up for his Mock of Brilliance. Only about 1,200 gold off at this point. Expect that by, say, 25 minutes, and that's going to be something nice to have for sure. Wretched Hag trying to make her recovery happen as she's just doing a little bit of farming out down here in the bottom lane. Can't exactly call it static farming as she's been nuking it down a little bit. But Wretched Hag, of course, just peaking out right above 200 gold per minute now. Starting to recover after having a pretty rough time there against Glacius Forsaken Archer in the middle lane. Nova says, forget the portal key. Forget the portal key. I have better things to do with my time. As he picks up a Bound Eye, he's going to be teaming up with Jonas and Fan to try to get a little bit of counter warding done. Not able to find anything just yet, but of course, Nova and most supports very big fans of that Bound Eye. Tempest picks up his Mighty Blade, and he's going to be working toward a Shrunken Head relatively soon. Now, Forsaken Archer does have a Whispering Helm now, and she dominated an Archer, so that's a little bit interesting. You don't normally see just a standard creep being dominated. You normally see one of the larger creeps. Says the Elemental Void is actually going to lock down Bubbles right here. Backblast being used as well, and they do secure the kill onto Yonasom Fan, using 2 big ultimates to do so. But hey, a kill's a kill, and they wanted to secure that kill. But now with those 2 big cooldowns down, well, the Hellborn team's going to come in. They're going to try to bring the pain, as Moonmeander will be forced to TP on out of there. Wretched Hag going to blink into the low ground and do the same momentarily. The Hellborn team trying to secure a couple kills, knowing those cooldowns are down, but not quite able to. Wretched Hag going to move even further away as she waits for that cooldown on the Homecoming Stone before she can get back to town. In the top lane, Merax is doing a little bit of pushing, farming, whatever you want to call it, as he's going to try to knock down this top tower perhaps. A TP does come in by way of Yonasom Fan, and he's going to try to get the stop going. Portal key versus non-portal key fight going on. Level 14 Meraxes, so he's doing very well in terms of levels, keeping up with Forsaken Archer and Tremble on the other team. And he's starting to work on that Hellflower, already with 1 Arcana finished. Going to be about 2,000 gold away from finishing up that Hellflower. And speaking of Hellflowers, on the other team, do have Parasite, of course, working on his still. Does have those 3 Scarabs as well as 1 Arcana. He's now about, let's do some quick math here, 1,900 gold, 1,800 gold away. That could have been very wrong. As Yonasom Fan's going to try to get here onto Tempest. The Kelp Field comes out. Hag's there with the Haunt. The Sonar Scream does miss with a nice take cover. And Hag's just trying to buy time. Moonmander will be able to port on out of there. Aluna getting caught, though, in the bottom jungle as Tremble, Parasite do team up. Tremble and Parasite look so similar with these 2 skins. Like, you've really got to wonder if that's actually, like, a strategy here by QsQ, that they need to coordinate their skins, because those 2 look very, very similar. Of course, I'm talking about Tremble, what is this, Quadrupod Tremble versus, and Baby Yaga Parasite. Look at them. They both have the 4 legs and the 2 front arms and the 2 tentacle things above their heads. Like, they look very, very similar. I know that I've been confused a couple times about which hero is which, and, well, if you don't look immediately, then, or you don't look real closely and you're just trying to get a quick glance, you might be confused there if you're the Complexity team as well. But you use what you got, and well, if that is in fact why they have those avatars on, then well done to the QsQ squad. On the other side of things over here with QsQ, Forsaken Archer finishes up a Firebrand and now a Geometer's Bane. So that's going to be delivered to her. Has been doing a little bit of stacking. Just cleared out those Ancients. Her Archer does appear to be dead. Which kind of makes sense because they only have like, what, 280 HP or something like that. Couple of attacks from those dragons and will die very, very quickly. 330 HP. As a Mock of Brilliance has been finished up here on Boo Boo Bear for about 2 minutes now. Uses that one to actually grab the kill on that tower, and they're going to be able to back off without having to contest it at all. Wretched Hag actually picks up an Arcana. So she picked up the Mighty Blade looking for that shrunken head. But now she's going for an Arcana. So something a little bit similar to what we might have seen on Soul Stealer back in the day, or even more recently when we do see a Soul Stealer. You pick up a Mighty Blade just to get that increased HP so you're not so squishy. Of course, Hag without that Mighty Blade and her Steam Boots set to something other than Strength would only have about 800, maybe 900 life. But with that Mighty Blade and Steam Boot set to Strength at a much more formidable 1200 HP, so not going to be able to be comboed down by a Parasite as effectively. Speaking of Parasite, he does finish up that Hellflower. But Hag and Meraxes both working on theirs. Meraxes, he might actually have finished his up. We'll see if he puts it on the courier here relatively soon. If he has not finished it up, he's got to be very, very close at this point. Once the couple of Hellflowers are picked up here by the Legion team, well, and a couple, actually, 2 have been finished up by the Hellborn. So I wanted to say once a couple have been finished up by the Legion team, they're going to have great initiation potential with their blink in and grab the Hellflower. Now, the Hellborn team doing it a little bit differently. They grab 2 Hellflowers, but neither of those heroes have initiation, innate, or portal key. So they're just going to have to kind of walk up and use the Hellflowers. And unfortunately, that's not always going to be too effective when you have somebody like a Tempest, somebody like a Meraxes, a Hag that's going to be playing interference, trying to get superior positioning on you if you're having to get real close with those Hellflowers. I mean, the range is pretty good on it, like, what, 800? Yeah, 800. So it's pretty good range. But you also want to be close to them. If you're Tremble, if you're Parasite, you want to be close to the person that you're Hellflowering so you can start to pound that damage in with that increased 20% damage that's being taken. So if you're 800 units away and you're Tremble, well, you're going to be able to close that distance in 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, but that's half the duration of your Hellflower gone right there, where you should have been pounding damage in, hoping to be able to get it out. And even if you are able to close that distance, that means that you've already used something like your Root coming in from Boris. You're pinned down so that you're able to close that distance, and then they're going to start being able to walk away. Even with those Impalers slowing them down and whatnot, might be able to get away. You might not have enough damage to burst somebody down unless you have a lot of follow-up there from your Forsaken Archer or your Parasite or your Bubbles, but we shall see. Another pause coming out here between these two teams, so hopefully this one will get resolved pretty fast. I'm really interested to see if Meraxes has actually finished up that Hellflower or not. He hasn't started to fly it out to him yet, so I have to assume that he has not. But I feel like he should have already finished it. We're already looking at the gold per minute tab here, 328. He might just be waiting to buy one more piece of it right now, but I can't imagine that he's still 700 off. Interesting, interesting. Shrunken Head has been finished up onto Tempest, so he's going to be able to start working with that to secure some big ultimates. Now, I remember talking about this a little bit earlier. Forsaken Archer, when we saw that she did have a minion dominated, I kind of expected it to be a Skeleton King. If you're going to be using a 300-second cooldown to dominate a creep, you want to have something that's not only going to be able to stack, but perhaps be able to be useful in some other means. And whenever you're up against a Tempest and you don't have a Plague Rider or a Pharaoh or something to interrupt through a Shrunken Head, you might want to look at dominating some Skeleton Kings, because those are going to be able to pierce through that. Now, of course, on the other side, Parasite does have his Face Hug ability, which will interrupt the Tempest ultimate. That's true enough, but you're not always going to be able to get that Parasite in there, so you might want to have a little bit of redundancy. So I would have preferred that she use that to pick up a Skeleton King, but whatever. She picked up an Archer. it's over. It's done with. Now Boo Boo is Boo Boo's actually picked up Mystic Vestments. I don't know that I've seen that one too often. You typically see Mystic Vestments on Wild Soul himself, but not always on the bear. Boris might be in a little bit of trouble here as a root goes out, and Boris will fall, so a nice bounty there for the Legion team to be able to pick that one up. But the Hellborn also gets a little bit of scouting information about just what is going on. Legion look like they want to actually move up here and try to push down this tier 2 tower. Bubbles picks up a portal key, and it's just delivered to him. So they now got a little bit of counter initiation. Nova with that bound eye, maybe trying to do a little bit of counter warding up here on the front lines, make sure that they don't get any vision. Treble's going to come in and puts the root onto Boo Boo. They're going to be able to freeze him, and Boo Boo will fall. Resummoned immediately, though. So not in too much trouble. The Mock Bear up in front. They're going to go in for the Forsaken Archer pin. No, not going to just yet. Defensive tower very low on life now. Terramon's going to come in, and Boris is going to try to initiate onto Meraxis. Going to be able to interrupt that portal key for now. So they got to bring that guy down. Tremble does port in, and he's going to be able to get in there. Hellflower being activated onto Meraxis, and it looks like the piercing arrows are going to go down. Meraxis is going to fall. Elemental Void catches 2 right there, including Parasite. Bat Blast going to hit both of them. Sonar Scream going to be going out. Only one of them is going to fall. Tremble's into trouble. He's going to be going down. He does go down right there. Boo Boo's going to try to get out of there, and he will be able to escape for now. Health Potion going to be going out onto him. Forsaken Archer going to fall. Power Throw goes out. Buyback comes in on Tremble. Forsaken Archer in some trouble. Bound Eye on the ground as Glacius did fall to that Power Throw. Tremble comes in, and he's able to get a double tap after that buyback, and it looks like that might be the end of it there. Hag is going to be able to TP out. Of course, Chessie already TP'd back home, and they're going to be safe and secure. So one buyback came out from QsQ. They were able to save the tower, which is very low, so that could be backdoored down relatively easily, but they were able to clean up 3 heroes themselves. Bubbles and Forsaken Archer lived. Everybody else died. Tremble bought back. So 3 for 3 plus a buyback. Complexity gets the better end of that one, but not by a whole lot. QsQ now up by 4,500 experience and 1,500 gold. So a pretty substantial lead, but not insurmountable by any means. Meraxis finishes up his Hellflower, going to be delivered to him relatively soon. I would think. Pretty sure that it did. Interesting to note that with this white snow holiday backdrop, I can actually tell night and day a lot better than I was on the normal one. It's actually kind of weird. As top lane, Meraxis in some trouble. Hellflower being applied. Meraxis is definitely in some trouble. Activates the Matrix though and is able to get away for now. Tremble might be in a little bit of trouble himself after phasing through there. They're actually going to turn their attention toward Bubbles. Glacial Blast going to go out. The Quake is there. Matrix being detonated. Bubbles will go down. QsQ, they're going to try to follow up, though. Ice Imprisonment going to be going out onto the Boo Boo Bear, and Glacius might be in a little bit of trouble. Tempest activates the Shrunken Head. Going to try to live from the Piercing Shards. Hag goes in, trying to set up a kill onto somebody. Hag is able to get the kill onto Nova. Nova goes down on Glacius. It looks like Parasite's going to get caught out. The Hellflower not going to be able to protect him, and now Tremble might be in some trouble. The axe is going out, not able to connect just yet, but will he be able to get the root off? The root! Not able to get the root just yet. The Complexity team trying to get over there, but Tremble so fast. A nice body block. They're going to try to turn it around. Tremble, style, what are you doing? The root comes in that time. Glacial Blasts are there. Meteor to finish him off, and huge amounts of misplay there from Style, hoping that with the Hellflower he might be able to just finish off Meraxis, but yeah, there was a lot more Complexity players there than just Meraxis, and just like that, Complexity capitalizes on the mistakes of their opponents, and they're able to bring themselves back into a 3,200 gold lead, 2,300 experience lead, 31 minutes into this game. Kill scores, 13-12, 1 up in Complexity's favor. Defensive tower in the top lane will be denied here by Glacius, leaving 2 left for the Hellborn team, and 3 left for the Legion. Forsaken Archer picks up a Shrunken Head now, and actually is still using that Archer. So we'll see. Looks like it is the same Archer. I don't know where it was hiding. Is bottom lane Hellflower being applied onto Bubbles. Quakes to go out. Auto attacks are there, and down goes Bubbles. So Complexity able to find the vulnerabilities now. Once they got their Hellflowers up, they are certainly able to get those pickoffs somebody like Bubbles, somebody like that Forsaken Archer, the Parasite, they fall quite quickly with a Hellflower or two activated on them. And Complexity finds themselves back in the driver's seat. Soul Bulwark being picked up now onto Wild Soul. Going to be able to use that to knock down towers even faster, as Complexity will be turning their attention toward the middle or bottom towers relatively soon here. Franzi finishes up an Astrolabe before upgrading boots on Luna. A little bit interesting there. I guess it's one of those situations where you have the money for it and you kind of want to finish it up right then and right there because you might not have the money for it again. And of course, an Astrolabe is a very nice item to have as an invisible Glacius is trying to skulk around here in the middle lane. 7 seconds left on that invis and does have to retreat. Tempest finishes up an Energizer. That is not an item that you see every day on the Tempest. Maybe on somebody like a secondary support Master of Arms, or maybe a secondary support Valkyrie, or a number 3 Valkyrie, or maybe an Ophelia, Parasite even. But on a Tempest, interesting. So going to be nice for the Hellborn team to have, as the Hellborn team now going to start making their way up. And Hag does try to get in there, tries to get some initiation off. Meraxis might be in a little bit of trouble. The crippling volley does miss, and now Tremble going to get turned around on a little bit here. Red throw goes out, and Tremble's going to take a quick fall. Meraxis gets in there to get a hand on it, but not even needed, as Tremble dies very, very quickly. A one-hit root on a Forsaken Archer. He's going to be in a little bit of trouble now, as she does have to activate that Shrunken Head. That's a 10-second Shrunken Head. Should be able to get out of there. Shell Surf, Song of the Sea being used by Bubbles to do a little bit of harassment. Energizer being... Oh! Ultimate! Going to be catching 3 players right there. Sonar Scream going to come out. Quake to finish him off, and Meraxis able to clean up. 3 players go down for QsQ, and Complexity looking dominant right now in this game. 4 players down, and they're going to be able to bring down this defensive tower. No problem. Might even be able to just turn around and go for the next defensive tower in the bottom lane. Bubbles comes back in, playing around with the Shell Surf and the Portal Key back on out. But no, they're going to actually go for this defensive tower. 5 players up. Complexity says, screw it, we're taking down this defensive tower. We're pulling home racks. And Forsaken Archer, even with her 10-second Shrunken Head, just was not able to make anything happen there. The Elemental Void catching 3. Fantastic job there from Moonmander to get those. And now Wild Soul is the only one left from Complexity in the front lines, but he's in no danger, really. He's going to be able to back off and maybe even do a little bit of farming before he has to TP on out of there. coL, let's take a look right here. Looking pretty good. Top farmer in the game is Wild Soul of all players. With that 120 gold per minute farm that he had at one point, now making a big comeback. 445 gold per minute. Buys a Warp Cleft now, and he's going to be finishing up his Demonic Breastplate very, very soon here. In fact, has an Abyssal Skull on that bear already that I was not even aware of. So he must have picked that up before the Soul's Bulwark. In fact, I think I do remember it scrolling across right here, and I just didn't mention it. Franzi does upgrade her boots now, and Tempest, of course, starting to bank up quite a bit of gold. Haxorn finishes up his Shrunken Head. 10 seconds left on that guy, and now another 775, so looking strong. Meraxis banking 3K. Could be working on something like a Shrunken Head himself, or maybe going for something a little bit different. We'll pick up that Mighty Blade, though, so leads me to believe that he's going to be going for that Shrunken Head. Now, Signs of Life on the other side for Q Squad. Tremble does have that tanky presence. He's sitting on 1,800 life. He does have that Hellflower, so he's able to put out some damage, lock some people down. But he needs a Shrunken Head. He's got the Mighty Blade, and he's got 1,000 gold. So he's 1,900 off from finishing up that Mighty Blade. Speaking of Shrunken Heads, Forsaken Archer does have one, and Bubbles needs one up here because he's taking a lot of damage from that Mock of Brilliance, but will be able to escape thanks to a little bit of a creep block at the hands of his own Hellborn creeps. But Shrunken Head, Tremble needs to finish that one up. Forsaken Archer does have the Shrunken Head and the Geometer's Bane. Decent levels, up at level 19. Highest on his team, yes. But doesn't have a whole lot of damage. Only hitting for 173 right now. needs to be able to pick up some of those single target damage items. As Glacius is coming in right here with the Invis, might be looking for something on Wretched Hag, able to get the Hellflower onto him as well as the Ice Imprisonment. But the turnaround, in comes the Quake with the Matrax being activated. Power throw, Elemental Void catching 3 players right there. Triple into trouble, Bat Blast, Sonar Scream comes out, and the Matrax being detonated, and down goes 2 players right there. And Forsaken Archer Illusions trying to get some damage happening, but not quite able to. Quake is going to catch 1 right there. Forsaken Archer is going to be in some trouble. The Kelp Field as well, the Shellstar Song of the Sea going to try to catch 2. Piercing Shards are out, not going to be able to hit anything, and Forsaken Archer going to go down. Auto attacks from Moon Meander, finishing him off, and Bubbles once again the only one alive. Top lane, Rax going down. GG well played are coming out as Complexity takes a 2-0 sweep in this series, able to bring down QsQ. They wanted it and they got it. Guys, Complexity is going to be going on to face the loser of Trademark versus Stay Green. That's going on right now. They're going to be going on to the losers bracket finals. That's going to be tomorrow morning. And they're going to see if they can make it back to the grand finals once more. But guys, you got to give it up to Complexity. People say, you know, maybe they're playing a little bit too safe. Maybe they're playing a little bit boring. Those games were anything but action-packed all the way through, and Complexity looked absolutely dominant. So congratulations to them, and a huge shout-out to Q Squad. You know, they squeaked by with a forfeit win this morning. They really wanted to play and get warmed up this morning, but unfortunately, TTE is not able to field 5, and well, QsQ just didn't have it in them to bring it to Complexity right here. Needed melee or something, but didn't quite look so strong. Let's go ahead and get this scoreboard updated, guys, as coL takes a 2-0 victory. So, guys, that's it for coLcast for the day. Thank you very much for joining me. Unfortunately, only doing 1 series today because the TTE's game was a forfeit this morning. Let me see if I can actually grab somebody. Gonna see if anybody wants to hop on for a real quick Skype interview. So let me see if I can get that together in just a moment here. But guys, thank you for watching. Of course, a huge shout out to Complexity Gaming for allowing coLcast to happen. You can check them out at complexitygaming.com, where HoN Tour is on the front page. If you missed any of Complexity Gaming's games this week, I'm going to be doing a coL breakdown. That's going to be going up probably Sunday evening, maybe Monday, something around there. You can check that out. That'll be over at complexitygaming.com. You can also check out facebook.com/complexitygaming for information pertaining to coL, and of course Twitter at Complexity Live, where you can get all of your Complexity Gaming information from Heroes of Newerth, StarCraft 2, the fighting game scene, the new Black Ops team, the Call of Duty team that coL just picked up. All that information available right there at twitter.com/complexitylive. And of course, make sure to follow me at BeefPotPie1 on Twitter for all your information regarding coLcast, coL, anytime that we're going to be doing HoN Tour, anytime that we're going to be doing Scrimcast, Sound Blaster Heroes League. You, of course, know right there, first and foremost, at BeefPotPie1 on Twitter. Guys, unfortunately, I think that everybody did bail out, so we're not going to be able to get an interview going right now. If we do, then I'll come back when I have it, but well, that's going to be it. Of course, one more big shout out to the Complexity sponsors: Sound Blaster, Origin, QPad, PNY Creative, G8 brand, and of course Twitch TV. So big shout out to those guys for helping coLcast be something here. And one more big shout out to the teams that did play today: Complexity Gaming, QsQ. I'm going to go over to HoNcast right now, honcast.com, twitch.tv/HoNcast, and I'm going to check out SG versus Trademark. I believe that they're going to be going into, but not yet, because we're going to be bringing on Franzi for a quick Skype interview. So let's go ahead and get him called up. Give me 1 second to get that set up, guys.
Hello, hello.
Franzi, how you doing?
I'm doing better.
Doing better?
Yeah. First series was a little rough today.
Yeah, you guys struggled a little bit there against My Revenge. Now, let's talk about those games a little bit. Game 1, I mean, you guys looked looked pretty good. Anything worth noting about that game? I mean, what really
Um,
happened?
they picked a really, really big turtle strat, and we didn't want to play as passive as we were forced to, but in the end we just outfarmed them and just waited for the second token and then won the game when Zephyr was unkillable with his heart.
Yeah, getting pretty tanky there at the 30-minute mark with 3,000 HP. But yeah, you guys were able to turtle that one out, play passive, got big. Game number 2, you guys were looking strong, but let it slip through. What happened there?
There was a series of disappointments. Sorry about that. There was a series of disappointments for in game 2. Just a ton of bad play all around by all of us, and unfortunately led to us losing and a lot of frustration on our part. So we tried to put that out of our mind for game 3.
Yeah, game 3, it looks like you guys had a plan going in right away. Did you draft that lineup exclusively with the level 1 Concourse strat?
When I was kind of like hinting towards, we could do it because I knew we weren't playing. We're definitely not playing our best right now. I think that's evident to everyone, and we're just play to win. So every time we just wanted to get through this BO3 and then focus on the next. So we saw the opportunity. They had no suicide hero, so we knew they always run 5-man to place wards and defend their wards. So we knew they were going to run 5 people top because they didn't have a suicide hero. So they definitely had to pseudo tri-lane it with Ophelia. So we just took that opportunity and went for Kong because we knew they wouldn't check it.
All right, yeah. Securing that level 1 Kongor kill gets you guys some levels, gets you some farm, and you guys were able to just steamroll through that game. Just winning a game in 15 minutes or 10 minutes with giving up no kills, perfect game. That give you guys a huge morale boost going into the second series.
Not really. I mean, it's a really cheesy and stupid way to win. I said I was sorry in the all chat, and I really was. It sucks to lose that way, but I mean, there's really nothing you can do after you get level 1 Konged.
Yeah, some would call it cheesy, but like you said, play to win. When you're on the ropes, game number 3, you do not want to go out in 5th, 6th position. Wanted to make it to this game. Now let's talk a little bit about this series. In the last game, the first game here, I mean, you guys looked... It was looking kind of wishy-washy there for a little bit, but you're able to bring it out and talk about game 1 a little bit.
Oh, let me pull it up real quick. Game 1, they picked Devour, which was really interesting, but we got Parasite on Jesse, and he played really, really well on Parasite, and then Moon, because we had Parasite, Moon was able to win bottom lane and get a huge level advantage on their Silhouette, who had nothing all game, because Moon was able to just kill him over and over. I think Silhouette was 4 when Bubbles was 7.
Yeah.
And at that point, the Shell Surf and the Song of the Sea does way too much damage for Silhouette to stay in lane.
Yeah, Moon absolutely dominated that one, just like he was able to dominate earlier today with Bubbles, of course, one of his signature heroes right there. But you guys, it looked maybe a little bit sketchy for the first 10 minutes of the game or so, but after that, you guys just dominated that first game. 22-minute victory, and going into game 2, I assume that you had all the morale back that you needed.
Yeah, definitely. We're all really confident in our abilities. We know we're good players. We know we have the ability to be the best. Unfortunately, we're going through a rough spell right now, so it's kind of... But we still have the motivation to be the best, so we're going to keep working and hopefully improve.
Okay. Yeah, and that, game number 2, you guys looked very good. I want to talk to you a little bit personally about that first blood that you almost gave up there in the bottom lane, choosing to level up Deja Vu.
Yeah, I knew they were probably going to be bottom. I thought maybe I could sneak a ward in before they got there, and sure enough, they were there. And as soon as I saw Bubbles actually shell surfing towards me, I just had to skill it and get out. And it really, really messed me up in lane. I wasn't able to keep Bubbles out alone. I ended up dying. I had to waste my health potion because of the level 1 gank, and I mean, it was bad play by me, but
well, yeah, not necessarily bad play by you, but I mean that Bubbles, he got stacked regen. He was
did he?
six tangos and a potion going into lane
I
right
didn't
there.
Notice.
And yeah, when I was watching you trade auto attacks at level 1 and not having that power throw available to you, yeah, you were getting bullied around.
It was pretty rough.
But did give up that kill eventually, but B-Kid also was able to get fantastic farm in that lane, and Bubbles wasn't able to get too much down there. And even though Chessie almost gave up kills multiple times in the top lane, able to escape with some TPs, eventually brought it back around, nearly 500 gold per minute on Wild Soul. That's the strength of that hero, and you guys brought the game home in dominant style once you're able to pick up some of those Hellflowers, and looked really good there. Some huge ultimates from Moon for sure.
Yeah, he played really well. Moon is an exceptional Tempest, and Chessie plays Wild Soul better than anyone, I think. So
yeah. All right, well, that does it for those games. Tomorrow morning, you're going to be going up against either Trademark or SG, and if you were to win that, then you'd be going into the grand finals. Who do you want to face more in the losers bracket finals?
I want to rematch against SG.
Yeah,
I want to crush them.
You want to do it again, just like 2 weeks ago, beat SG and then go up against TDM in the finals? But this time, you're going to bring down TDM?
Hopefully beat TDM in the finals, yes, that's the plan.
What's the deal with you guys in TDM? Is there some kind of a mental block there?
No, we just we get some good games against them, but they just play better and make less mistakes, and that's how you win HoN.
Yeah, TDM, of course, looking very, very strong. Been practicing a lot. You guys going to be starting to scrim a little bit more in the next upcoming weeks?
I'd love to say we would, but not this week. We got Christmas Eve on Monday, Christmas Tuesday, Chessie's birthday. He's turning 20 on Wednesday. And actually, no, I think we're going to... Chessie said he wanted us to scrim for his birthday present, so we're going to scrim Wednesday.
Well, I think that's an absolutely fantastic thing from Chessie, so shout out to him. All right, well, Peter, that will do it. Best of luck to you guys tomorrow morning. I think coLcast is going to be casting your game in the morning and the grand finals. So we'll see if you do manage to make it to the grand finals. I'll be rooting for you, of course, and everybody here at Twitch TV/ComplexityHoN. Peter, thanks for being on. Any shout-outs before you go?
I'd like to shout out my Twitter and my Twitch page. My Twitter is @COL_Franzi. My Twitch is /Franzi. And then I want to shout out my sponsors, Sound Blaster, QPad, PNY, Creative, and Origin.
All right, Peter, thanks once again, and best of luck tomorrow morning. Congrats on the wins today.
Thanks for casting.
All right. Well, guys, huge shout out to Peter for joining us, but that does it for coLcast today. We're going to be back tomorrow morning. Not sure quite what we're doing just yet. Going to have to talk to HoNcast and coordinate that, but going to be bringing you guys a couple more matches tomorrow for sure, so make sure to check those out. But guys, we're out of here. Complexity takes it 2-0 over QsQ. We got 3 left in the Diamond Division. If you're not already watching it right now, go over to honcast.com, twitch.tv/honcast, and check the rest of the Trademark versus SG series. Bound to be pretty good. One more big shout out to Complexity Gaming for allowing us to be here. And of course, all of you for watching. S2 for putting HoN Tour together. We'll be back later. Catch you then.